So as you may know, IPD, or I should say now MSCI, MSCI provides real estate benchmarking and portfolio analysis services to clients in over 30 countries already around the world. And these services incorporate more than 1,500 funds containing nearly 70,000 assets with a total capital value of over USD 1 trillion US dollar. Each year, it means that we produce indices helping real estate market transparency and performance comparison, as well as 600 benchmark for client portfolios. On this slide, I propose to talk about the IPD Global Index, which measures the combined performance of real estate markets in 25 countries. And this index reports the market rebalance returns of the 25 most mature markets in the world, together worth an estimated of 1.5 trillion US dollar at the end of 2013. Within this index, we analyze three groups of markets: North America, EMA, and the rest of the world, that is Asia Pacific. On this slide, I would like to show historical returns, and the challenge is not for you to try to identify each of the lines. It won't be quite difficult, but the red one is for the global index, so let's say the average, the weighted average of all these markets. And as you can see, the total, the end number, which is the performance for 2013, is 8.4, which is quite a high level compared to other asset classes. It's always interesting to have this comparison in mind. And as you can see, this is also quite interesting to see the shape of this line. Obviously, the peak period before 2007, and then which is the crisis period, and then we could say a dip, a double dip, with quite steady result from 2010 onwards. And then, as you can see, for 2013, the global return is 8.4% annualized total return. Just to give you a word about France, but we will have a specific part at the end of the presentation for France. So 5.1% is the 2013 total return. Quite, as you can see, less volatility, especially at the end of the period. Again, this will be interesting to understand why, and we will talk about that a bit later. More than the average, as always, this is interesting to understand what are behind the numbers. And clearly, there are significant variation across markets, across property types, and across cities, because performance, as you can also notice, performance is one part of the situation, but performance does not mean anything without risk. That's why we have to consider the two dimensions altogether. And in this chart, which is quite easy to read, hopefully, you've got the volatility on the horizontal axis, and the historic returns on the vertical one for the last 10 years. And then you've got four quadrants. The top ones are for high performance, and the bottom one are for lower performance. And on your left, you've got for example, as you can see, France, good performer with quite a low volatility, given the period that is under review. And on the opposite, for example, Japan or UK or Spain, lower return for the period under review, but also higher volatility, which is also interesting to keep this in mind. On the opposite, again, to complete this European overview, Germany and Switzerland, that are in the fourth quadrant, that is lower volatility, but also lower returns. Another way to talk about risk is to talk about the difference between valuation-based indices, that are the IPD indices, but also with the transaction-based indices, because as everybody knows, let's say the market, the way the market assess let's say the value of the asset are the top elements. That is the difference between value and price. And just for you to be aware, over the last few years, IPD has been developing a hybrid index methodology which couples transaction information with standard IPD valuation data to give a more complete measure of the volatility and as a consequence of the risk that is inherent to the property investment markets. It's true that the low liquidity of commercial real estate investment will always mean that for the most market tracking and performance assessment purposes, valuation-based measures will remain essential. But just for everybody to be aware, sometimes the criticism that is made to valuation-based indices is the fact that potentially the risk is underestimated, but with the transaction-based indices, you could see that in fact, the level of volatility is quite similar if we compare for each market, especially for France, as we said earlier, a quite low level of volatility. It is confirmed by a low level that is based on the transaction-based volatility indices. For other markets like Germany and Switzerland, it's true that when we compare with transaction, this introduces more volatility. It could be a good, I think this will be one topic that will be addressed a bit later with the panelists, the comparison within market and let's say the confidence we could have in terms of data. But I won't say nothing more about that. Another key element I think it's interesting to consider is the level of activity within Europe and compare with the other region. And as you can see, this is the purpose of this graph. Investment activity everywhere is in a rising phase and across all regions, EMA, Asia Pacific and Americas. And the graph, I would say, speak for themselves. As you can see, following the, let's say, the crisis period, we are now close to the level at the end of 2013, and the trend is quite similar for the very first part of this year. We reach quite closely the level we were facing before the crisis everywhere, especially in Europe, and this is also the case in Asia and Pacific and in America as well. Where does this investment activity focus on? And the purpose of that slide is just to address shortly the following topic about the fact that it's always important to think about markets, but as you will see, not only markets, but also cities and smaller regions within markets, which is something that is interesting to see because we are not talking only about, let's say, broad vision and let's say the global scale, but because of the reality of the market, that is not only, let's say, one message or one situation that could be considered for one country, but clearly there are some sub-regions, sub-market, and the stories are quite different whether you consider one part of the market of a market or the other. And the purpose of that slide is to try to illustrate this idea. Because for each bullet point means the change in activity, for example, for the last quarter or for the last 12 months. And the more the bullet point is on your right, it means that, for example, global cities, as you can see, there were indeed, let's say, it's a big attention from investors, but as you can see, regional cities and national cities are let's say, the part of the market that are moving quite quickly, and this is interesting. and this is not limited to one market, for example, France. This is everywhere. Another key element when we try to explain the context is, let's say the strategy from the investors in terms of type of funds they are trying to select. And this slide is based on the last INREV survey in terms of investor intention by style. And as you can see, again, I think it's quite easy to read. This year, at the end of last year, as you can see, it's true that the core is still the priority, but it's quite interesting to notice that the value-added fund are quite, let's say, it's a source of interest for the investors. And we are back to a level that were experienced, for example, again before the crisis. So it's interesting to see how the strategies are evolving in this market context. Last but not least, before moving to the French overview, it's clear that the keywords, if we have to summarize let's say the market context, is challenging times. This is not my word, but this is clearly what we could summarize as the key element. And the challenging, one of the other elements, as you can see on this slide, is about income yields. And there you've got the range of income returns, income yields at the end of the period, that is at the end of last year, but the spread between the highest level and the lowest for the period, the last 10 years. And as you can see, the lead point is for the 2013 income return. Almost everywhere we are at the bottom of the box. That is the fact that in terms of, let's say, sales activity, it could be the right momentum to sell the asset. Let's move to France, and I'm sorry for that, but the slide will now be in French. I'm not sorry. This is quite normal because we are talking about France. And so, if you remember, the 2013 return was 5.1 at the end of last year. So there you've got the full story, starting in 1999, and there you've got the full story with the cycles that are quite easy to read. So the boom period in 2006, 2007, the crisis with negative capital growth, and we are back from 2010, 2011, 2012 with positive capital growth, but in 2013, as you can see, because rendement en capital means capital growth, so it means that the values in average were negative in 2013. And we are also, an important element to keep in mind, 9.2 is the annualized total return for the whole period, that is 9.2, which is still a quite high level. So to invest in the French market, it's quite interesting in terms of performance. But again, we will have to talk about risk, and this will be addressed in a few seconds. On this slide, what I try to illustrate is again the comparison with the valuation-based index versus the transaction, the impact of transaction. And on this line, you've got two lines. One is for écart pondéré, that is in fact the average direction difference, and the other is for the average difference between, again, when a valuation is stored in our database, we compare this number with the previous when a transaction price is stored in our database, we compare this number with the previous valuation, and we assess the distance between the two numbers. And on the average numbers is 3%. Which is a quite low number, and this is always interesting to, for example, to compare this number for France with other numbers for other markets. And for example, in the UK, this number is a bit higher. Also because the market is more volatile. But as you can see, before the crisis, the difference was much bigger, but only 9%. So let's say when we say that there is some lagging or some smoothing effect with the valuation, it has to be, let's say, to be considered in the French market. That is demonstrating with this analysis that let's say the valuation are quite close with the market trends. A word about transparency, which is also a key element for investors, clearly. And with these slides, what I try to illustrate is the difference in terms of rents between the economic one and the rents that are on the lease. And this is all about estimation, because there is no clear communication in this area, as everybody, and the reason for that everybody could imagine. But just for everybody to be aware, and there are some numbers that are missing, because for each segment, for example, Paris CBD or the other segment, it's important to keep in mind that based on our assumption, the spread between the two numbers are below 16%, which is quite, let's say, normal in every market. This is, let's say, the normal level that we would consider as the difference between, let's say, what are the economic rent and would say the real ones versus the theoretical one. And as you can see, the numbers, just also for everybody to have a good idea of the numbers of for the French market. For this slide, what I try to illustrate again is the idea of different story depending on the market segment we are considering. And there are three categories, and the criteria is the capital growth, for each of them, starting in 1988, which is the starting point of our indices in France. And three categories of segment telling three different stories. As you can see, other retail or residential in Paris, or regional markets for residential. The story is a very high let's say, increase in values, very positive numbers for the whole story, and but let's say lower level if we compare with shopping centers, for example, in the second group. Which is, as you can see, 350 if we compare to the starting point, that is the capital growth. There is a factor of 3.5 from the whole period. Other story, completely different story if we consider the third group. That is West CBD for offices, regional markets for offices, retail park, logistic, and activity. And there, as you can see, the trend is not exactly the same one as the others, meaning that we are still facing decreasing values for these segments. And clearly, this is again something that we have to keep in mind. Again, different stories according to different markets. If we try to, because all that number were based on last year numbers, but closer to us numbers that at the end of the first semester, that is the 30th of June this year. In terms of performance in France, retail is still the best performer with a total return that is 2.5%, mainly driven by rent passing that are still stable, as you can see, quite steady, 0.3 as a change compared with the last semester. If we consider different type of shopping of retail, the story is a bit different, but numbers are, let's say, not very, let's say, the level are quite steady, so a very positive message. In terms of financial vacancy, which is probably the key, one of the key elements to monitor when retail is as you can see, the vacancy rate is stable, quite stable. Offices, the story is a bit different because there the total return is lower, 1.9% for the semester. There, as you can see, we are in a completely different context when rent passing are concerned, decreasing rent passing. Vacancy, in terms of vacancy, we are above the 10%. There it's floor space vacancy above 10%, especially in Paris, as West CBD as well, but also in the region, Île-de-France region as well. Numbers are quite very high. Last but not least, when we review the type of assets, activity and logistics, they are mixed in this analysis, but clearly the story could be quite similar. The total return is still positive, 2.3, but values are still decreasing in this type of asset, and especially again driven by decreasing rent passing in this period, minus 4% for the last semester, reaching the level of 49 euros per square meter. So these are, let's say, the numbers, what tells the numbers, but let's try to have quite an anticipation of what would be the end of the year. And the next 3 slides are coming from a barometer we are, let's say, producing in partnership with Crédit Foncier Immobilier, and 20 panelists are for each meeting are giving their anticipation in a series of criteria, and the way the charts could be read is each bar means, let's say, the average that we are given at the subsequent at each meeting. So that's why you can see what is the outlook made at the end of 2013 for the year after, at the beginning of 2014 for the end of the year, etc., etc. And the dark bar is the last assumption. So the first question, one of the first questions we asked was, what about the product you would like to buy in France for this year, 2014, and the year after? And as you can see, retail are the product that is still given also the level of performance we saw a few minutes ago. Retail is still the preferred asset, but especially for example, when we consider Paris CBD, it was Paris CBD at the beginning of the exercise, it was one of the most preferred assets, which is not the case anymore, and shopping center and other retail are now, let's say, the top preferred asset. In types of asset, what would be the best preferred type of purchase? As you can see, security is the key word, meaning secured cash flows. And again, this is not a surprise to see this response. On the opposite, what would be the product that you would like to sell? Offices, not surprisingly, and mainly regional or peripheral locations, which is again not a surprise. And on the opposite, residential and other retail are at the bottom of the list. Last but not least, in terms of let's say market location, the question we ask is if you have to go out of France, what would be your decision? And as you can see, Germany is on the top of the list. But the second one is Spain, which is not a surprise because by that I mean the fact that it's true that the Spanish market is not in a very good shape, but it's also a place where you can find opportunities. And clearly, you have to consider that the peak is behind you. But this is, as you can see, this is 20%, which is quite a high score for our panelists. And in terms of let's say the vehicle to be chosen by the investor, debt is still important. And again, I think this is interesting to have this in mind. I understand this is a very quick presentation, but this was the plan. In case you have any question, please feel free to ask. But I think that we address a lot of different topics that would support the panelist discussion right now. Thank you very much for your attention.